everybody. Please join me. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Good morning. Welcome to Sunday service at the Unity Center for Positive Living in Everett, Washington. Let's start our time together today with a reading from the Daily Word. Sunday, January 15th, World Peace. Around the world, so many souls are joining me in my prayer for peace. While the news may give more attention to points of conflict, there is a striving and a yearning in the human heart for peace. My prayer supports that desire and strengthens the bond of love that leads to greater harmony. I begin my affirmation of world peace with a soft and open heart. I'm comforted as I realize the advances the world's people have made over the generations to live together harmoniously. I make an effort to live a more peaceful life and bridge the gaps of understanding between myself and those around me. I focus my attention upon our shared desire, a peaceful world of cooperation and goodwill. This is my heartfelt prayer. The scripture today from Isaiah chapter 26, verse 3, those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust in you. In the opening statement today, I rest my heart in the peace of God. Let's say that together. I rest my heart in the peace of God. Our chaplain will lead us in an opening prayer.
Good morning. It is such a pleasure to be with you this morning. Welcome to Unity, whether you are here in person or here with us virtually. It's lovely to have you here. And yes, we can see you at home if you're looking at us virtually. We've been tricked. We can't see you at home. No, we're tricking them. We've been seeing them for a long time. Okay, let's get centered. Put your feet on the floor. Put your hands however you like to hold them, either over your heart or opened or down on your legs. Keep your eyes open or close them. Do whatever you are most comfortable doing. Take a deep breath and breathe in the spirit of peace. And exhale. Again, breathe in peace and watch it surround your heart. Exhale, and then expand it to surround your whole body. Feel blessed with absolute serenity. Faith, our power for the month of January, goes even beyond belief. When we have a deep acceptance of an idea, it is a belief. In the book of Hebrews, faith is defined as the assurance of things hoped for. Faith is that deep knowing that what we seek is already ours. Divine Father, we see progress made toward world peace. Even when we see the lack of understanding and conflict in the world, we know we are perceiving circumstances that are not permanent. With faith, we are assured that world peace is divine. It is a truth of our being. Tomorrow, we are reminded and honor Dr. Martin Luther King. We embrace his dream as we exemplify the equality and acceptance of all people. Since 1963, we continue to be spiritually beckoned by his words. Quote, "I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together." End quote. Peace begins within all of us. We have a sacred place in our heart which glorifies peace. Together, we can unify our whole world. Since we are all one with God, a radiant healing emerges, and our global family will live in harmony. Sweet Spirit, we are so thankful to see the presence of God in everyone and the beauty of our limitless diversity. Faith in God is the way to world peace. Our absolute assurance of things hoped for begins within. Each of us is a peaceful presence in our world. And so it is. Amen.
Well, let's sing our opening hymn together. Savannah will lead us in song number 26 in the Melodies from the Heart Songbook.
I give because I believe in love. I give because I believe in love. I give because I believe in love, and love is given to me. I give because I believe in joy. I give because I believe in joy. I give because I believe in joy, and joy is given to me. I give because I believe in peace. I give because I believe in peace. I give because I believe in peace, and peace is given to me. Last one, love. I give because I believe in love. I give because I believe in love. I give because I believe in love, and love is given to me. Amen.
Thank you. Well, good morning. Welcome again to this Sunday in the middle of January, smack dab in the middle. How did we get here so fast? Whoa. Came on fast, didn't it? Well, I'd like to introduce you to the people who are most visibly serving you today. You were greeted by our usher, Cecilia. Patty and Lonnie are hosting social hour for us today. Walter and Josh are making sure that you can see and hear us. Our chaplain is Nancy. You met her a moment ago. Terry and Savannah are providing music for us. My name is Cindy, and our speaker this morning is Reverend James Tierney. For those of you who may not have been here before or don't come very often, we have a series of guest speakers who support us on Sunday mornings. So when you come back next week, there will be a different speaker on the platform. But Reverend James comes and joins us on the third Sunday of the month, and so we welcome you back. We're glad to have you back in this country. He did a residency in Mexico for 5 weeks over the holidays. He had to spend December in Mexico. Oh, the agony of it all, I'm sure. He actually admitted that the weather had been lovely and they spent a lot of time outside, but he was really glad to come back here. So what is it with us native Washingtonians who just can't seem to stay away from this weather? So I'd like to remind you, if you brought your cell phone in this morning, would you please turn that off so we can have a quiet meditation here in a moment. And if you are with us for the first time, or if for any other reason you'd like a packet of information describing Unity, on your way out, be sure to ask the usher. We have a little packet to send you home with. It has the January newsletter in it. It tells you a little bit about Unity and tells you a little bit about Everett Unity. So if you'd like to know more about us, just ask on your way out. And then just a couple of quick announcements. I'd like to call your attention to the bulletin that you received when you came in. On the inside right panel, you'll see the list of activities that are happening here in January. We have quite a bit going on. Of course, for those of us who have been around a long time, this is not quite a bit. But for those of us who have survived the last 3 years, this is quite a bit. Oh, boy. So we have our Course in Miracles class has started back now on Wednesday mornings in person in the social hall at 10 a.m. So if you'd like to join in for that, you're welcome. It is still available online. It is really the only hybrid class we're doing right now where you can be at home online or here in person. So we welcome you back into the social hall for that. Drum Circle will be this coming Friday night at 7 p.m. We have the Board of Directors meeting this Wednesday night at 6 p.m. in the social hall. A note for those of you who have been participating in the Happy Hearts group, they will be starting up a meeting the first and third Monday of the month Tuesday of the month in February. That's the big change, Tuesday night at 7 p.m. So a little bit later and a different night. So we hope that more of you will be able to come and join us. We have started our 5 Principles class, and that's closed now to new members. We had our second class this last Tuesday night, and that's pretty well received. And I think that is it. Sure, if I've forgotten something, someone will remind me. Okay, so let's sing together again. Savannah, lead us in another song, same songbook, song number 59. Stand if you like, and we'll sing together again.
Sing this 3 times. I am now and have always been in the presence of the Lord. I am
We'll settle in now and get ready for our meditation.
So let's just allow ourselves to relax into our chairs and imagine taking a deep inhalation that you are rooted into the earth. So imagine roots growing out of your body deep into the earth. We're always connected to the earth. We evolved from the earth. As our roots grew deeper and deeper down to the center of the earth, we also have lateral connections. So we are not only grounded to the earth and connected to the earth, we are connected to each other. Our roots are all interconnected through the mycelium nature provides. And we can send and receive love and support and presence to each other through our roots deep in the earth. And now let's bring our awareness up through our legs, into our torso, through our hearts, and let's just allow all our muscles to relax. The chair is holding us up. We are present, relaxed easily. We relax our shoulders. We relax our necks. We relax our jaws and our eyelids. And now let's focus on the breath as we let it anchor us in this now moment, inhaling directly into our hearts and exhaling from our hearts. Let's activate the feeling of gratitude in your heart with a treasured memory, a beloved pet, or a person in your life. And as you activate that feeling of gratitude, notice how it opens your heart. It opens your heart to more gratitude, love, and ease, which expands and fills your heart, fills your body, and spills over into this space we're in. Allow yourself to relax, to lean back into that gratitude, into that love, into that pure ease, knowing that you are safe. We are safe. We are loving and beloved. All is well right now. Notice that feeling of satisfaction that comes from saturating ourselves with a high vibration of gratitude. Gratitude interpenetrating every cell, every pore, every bit of our consciousness. Gratitude for our existence, gratitude for our beloved spiritual community, gratitude for those helpers, making sure everything runs smoothly. And notice that this gratitude opens our hearts, it opens our minds, it brings us to a new dimension of who we are. And as this new dimension of who we are grateful. We are grateful for each other. Grateful for our presence. Grateful for the beautiful music. As internally we lean back once more into that presence, into that feeling, we now allow ourselves to take a deep inhalation directly into our hearts and exhale. And whenever you're ready, you can return your awareness to this time and space, to this room. And whenever you're comfortable, if you feel like it, you can open your eyes.
When things go wrong, it's natural to wonder, what celestial rule did I break? When things go right, it's logical to ponder, what credit can I take? But the truth is so much easier. I don't need a master plan. I can live here in the moment, 'cause my life is in good hands. I don't need to know where the wind blows, 'cause God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds, 'cause God knows. I need never know how pain ends, how my heart mends. I can just let go, 'cause God knows. But still I find I'm crying out for answers. Guess I'm still craving control. And still I find I'm afraid of taking chances, as if I could damage my soul. But at this moment I remember, oh, it comes so clear to me, that the minute I surrender, I'm as safe as I could be. I don't need to know where the wind blows, 'cause God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds, 'cause God knows. I need never how my pain ends, how my heart mends. I can just let go. I can just let go. I can just let go. 'Cause God knows. God knows. God knows.
Thank you, Terry and Savannah. It's such a treat for the ears and such a treat for the spirit to hear the music in this sanctuary. I'm here to talk about faith. Charles Fillmore wrote a book in 1938 about the 12 powers, and faith was the first power. And I think it's because faith is sort of fundamental. It's very important. Faith is the ability to believe, intuit, and perceive. Charles Fillmore has it in the center of the brain or the third eye. So it's the power of spiritual perception. There's an affirmation, faith blesses my day and paves my way. And I've split that into two parts. Blesses my day. Faith can make our lives better and paves my way. Through faith, we can improve the world for everybody, for our beloved community, for our universal beloved community. Faith also, Jesus said, if you have faith as a mustard seed, you shall say to this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible to you. So how many people have seen a mustard seed? They're very tiny, aren't they? And in the Middle East, where Jesus grew up in Nazareth and Bethlehem, mustard is a weed. And these tiny little mustard seeds grow as huge plants over your head. And they take over all the wastelands. It's like blackberries, except no thorns. So this is the thing about mustard seeds. And this is what I find in the examples I looked at for faith, is that it starts off tiny, and all you need is a tiny bit of faith. And given the least provocation, it will grow and fill you. The first story I'm going to talk about is, it's a woman, she's listed in 3 Gospels, her story. She's called the hemorrhagic woman. She had a problem. She was bleeding for 12 years. When medical doctors look at this condition, they think that it had to do with the menstrual cycle, which makes the problem even worse, because there were purity codes back 2,000 years ago. Leviticus chapter 15, verses 19 through 25 says that when a woman is in this state, she will defile anybody or anything that she touches. And so what they did was they had the women go to a red tent where they could be with each other during this period, except this woman had been in this state for 12 years. I'll read it, and then we'll go more into her story. And a woman was there who'd been subject to bleeding for 12 years. She'd suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all she had. Yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak, because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I will be healed. Immediately, her bleeding stopped. She felt in her body she was free from her suffering. At once, Jesus realized the power had gone out of him. He turned in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" Now, this was a very crowded street. And the disciples said, "Master, there's so many people crowding around you. How can you ask, 'Who touched me?' They all touched you." And Jesus kept looking around to see who'd done it. And the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet and, trembling with fear, told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Your daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." Now, this story is about us. It's about her. It's a little bit about Jesus. Jesus was having a busy day. In the morning, he got up and he expelled a legion of demons from a demoniac, from a gentleman who was very happy to have the demons out of him. Then he got in a boat and went to a town. And when he got to the dock, Jairus, the head of the synagogue, ran up to him and said, "My daughter is dying. My daughter is dead. You need to help her." And so he's like, "Yeah, let's get on it." And so there were crowds because he was very popular at the time. And so he's pushing through the crowds, trying to get to this man's daughter so he can resurrect her. And suddenly, this woman comes. And so you can understand why he might have been a little short with her. And afterwards, he went and resurrected the daughter and got on with his day. But it changed this woman's life. So let's just imagine her back in her red tent where she's been for 12 years. And she spent all her money on doctors, and she's just gotten worse. And one of the women in the red tent, because everybody else can go in and out, she's the only one who's stuck there, says, "I've heard of this guy Jesus, and he's healing people." And she suddenly knew, she got the mustard seed of faith there, that this was what was going to heal her. This was what was going to cure her. And so she found out when Jesus would be there, and then she had to be nervous about this because of the purity codes. Like, anybody she touched in the crowd would be ritually impure and would have to repurify themselves. And there would be a punishment for this. She could be exiled or stoned. All kinds of things could happen. So she was facing great risk. But that mustard seed of faith had grown big enough that she overcame the fear and doubt, and went and touched Jesus, and then her faith immediately healed her. And when Jesus said, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering," he was not just saying to her, "Go in peace." He was saying to everybody around her, "This woman has done no wrong. Leave her alone. Let her go in peace." So she's a saint in the Greek Orthodox Church. In Greek, her name is Bernice. Bernice means path to victory. And you can see her path to victory was through her faith. After 12 years and trying everything she knew, she had a path to faith. And she had to overcome her fear and her doubt because she faced real menace if she were caught outside of the red tent. But she did it, and then she was better. Now, how is this about us? How many of us have situations where we have used all our resources, we have spent so long, and still we have an issue? And yet, if we have a mustard seed of faith, we can, touching the hem for us is touching our Christ consciousness, touching the divine in us. And this faith can move mountains. This can instantly heal you. It can heal you mentally. It can heal you physically. I spent 5 weeks in Mexico at Namaste Village, which is an intentional community around the Course in Miracles, which I think many of you. How many people have studied Course in Miracles? A few. Well, I recommend it. it's a lot of work and easily worth it. And Course in Miracles is very present-oriented, and it says the real miracle is forgiving an old debt, forgiving, moving out of victim consciousness into I can do it consciousness, knowing that you are loving and beloved. We are all supported by each other. We are all supported by Spirit, that we don't walk alone in the world. We walk in two worlds at once. We walk in this world where we see people, the world of buildings and physicality, and we walk in the spiritual world outside time and space. And this is what faith does for us. While we're walking in this physical world, we also get to walk in the spiritual world. So this is faith blesses my day and paves my way. Actually, I want us to just do a little journey to touch our own hem of the garment. So let's allow ourselves to once again inhale into our hearts as we relax, and then allow yourselves to open to the thought of gratitude. And this gratitude could be for a treasured memory. It could be for a loved pet. It could be for someone in your life. It could be for a place. And just notice that mustard seed of gratitude grows into a giant plant. And it fills your heart, it fills your body with gratitude. And this is what happens. This is how we touch the Christ within. And this is how, at this point, it's easy for us to move out of victim consciousness into verity consciousness, into the consciousness of the Christ in us, as us, with us, forever. And now let's just inhale and move back into this time and space. So that's the story of Bernice, and it's the story of us and how we connect to our spirit. Tomorrow's Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I have a story about him and Elizabeth Cady Stanton that demonstrates how we can use faith to change the world. Martin Luther King Jr. was a big fan of faith, and his quote is, "Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase." Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. He was the one who popularized the idea of a beloved community. And a beloved community is a community that mutually loves and supports each other. You know, I see that in this church. I see this in other places. This is something he imagined for the whole world, and he would create beloved communities wherever he went. He really believed strongly in radical love. And his faith, you could see it when he gave talks. You know, he had faith as a mustard seed and nothing was impossible to him. Well, tell that to Elizabeth Cady. She was the daughter of Daniel Cady, who was a lawyer, and she had an older brother, Eliezer, who was in college when he suddenly died. And this was in 1826, so she was 11. And she went and hugged her father, and her father said, "I wish you were a son," which isn't something fathers would say now, but that's what he said. Daniel Cady is sort of a mixed character in this story, but he pulls it out in the end. Thank you. And Elizabeth Cady, when her father said, "I wish you were a son," said, "I will try to be all my brother was." But she had already completed all the schooling that women were allowed to go to by the age of 11. But she convinced her minister to teach her Greek and mathematics. And then she found the place where she could study was in her father's office. Now, he was a lawyer, and people would come and discuss their legal cases. And one of the things she noticed was when women came in to discuss their legal cases, they would leave crying. And this was because in 1826, it was not legal for women to own property. Women were not allowed to collect wages. They could work, but the wages belonged to their nearest male relative. They could not bring lawsuits. Women could not have a voice in the raising of their children. This was what was going on in 1826 when Elizabeth Cady was a young lady. And so she studied. She studied and studied because she had vowed to her father to be as good a child as she could. And she learned mathematics, Greek, and Latin, but when she applied to law schools, they all rejected her because she was a woman. And women weren't allowed in law school in the 1830s. So she studied as best she could. She did end up marrying Henry Stanton, who was another social changer, somebody who wanted to make the world a better place. And they spent their honeymoon at the World Anti-Slavery Conference. Because of course, if you were an activist in the 1840s, that's where you'd go to spend your honeymoon, at the World Anti-Slavery Conference. But when they got there, they found women weren't allowed to be at the World Anti-Slavery Conference. But a bunch of women thought that they should be allowed, and so they showed up. And they had a lot of disputation, and finally they said, well, you can be in the balcony, but you can't speak, and we'll put a screen over so nobody can see that you're there. And it was better than nothing. Actually, it was way better than nothing because Elizabeth Cady Stanton met Lucretia Mott, and they planned the Women's Rights Convention, in Seneca Falls for 1848. And Elizabeth Cady Stanton wrote a declaration. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal. Newspapers ridiculed her. Preachers denounced her from the pulpit. Her father ended up disinheriting her. I know, Dad. Elizabeth said to her father, you taught me to follow my conscience. You showed me the laws that were unjust. When she was 11 and she saw the unjust laws, she tried to rip them out of his law books. And he said, you're not going to change the world by defacing my law books. You're going to change the world by changing the laws. I'm a lawyer. I can't change the law. The legislature needs to change the law. And she went and she spoke. In 1854, she was scheduled to give a talk at the New York State Legislature. And her father said, no, you're humiliating me and the whole family. And she said, Dad. And she turned him around and got him to work on her speech with him. And so when she gave the talk, she created a beloved community in the New York State Legislature. Her grain of faith, her mustard seed of faith had grown into like a whole house full of weeds because they changed the law in that session so that women could own property, women could collect wages, women could bring lawsuits, women could have a voice in the raising of their children. Things we take for granted now, but New York was the first place that would do it. And it spread like wildfire to the other states. She also wanted women to have the vote, and that took a little longer. But 29 years later, in 1883, in Washington State, it was the third state to allow women to have the vote. And we were behind the first two by like a couple months. So her mustard seed of faith, gave her the ability to do the impossible, to create a community, a beloved community, to change the world. Martha Smock was the Daily Word editor for 30 years and said, to have faith is to do the work. Faith is the working power of the word. Martin Luther King said, don't move toward your dreams, live from your dreams. Be in the energy of your dreams. We talk about thinking globally and acting locally. Have faith in the beloved community. Take local steps to create justice, peace, and to save the planet. Now, you could see what would have happened if these guys, there's such a thing as, I don't know if there is such a thing as too little faith, even though it has to be just as big as a mustard seed. But you could see what the consequences would have been if these women had had too little faith. If Bernice had had too little faith, she might have been stuck in that tent for the rest of her life and never got to see her male children or male relatives. If Elizabeth Cady Stanton had had too little faith, who knows how long it would have been before women had rights. So I'm glad they had enough faith. There could be such a thing as too much faith. Bernice, perhaps, had too much faith in her doctors. And this is where faith gets, who failed her. This is where faith is tempered with wisdom and love. And if you have faith in something, it brings out the love, so you get to know them better. And wisdom, so you know whether the thing you have faith in is deserving of faith, is what needs the faith. So it's faith that I can do something, willingness to try. So the denial for faith that I'd like us to say together, I'll say it first. I give no power to doubt and fear. So together, I give no power to doubt and fear. And then the affirmation is fate blesses my day and paves my way. Fate blesses my day and paves my way. Faith is the ability to believe, to intuit, and perceive. We have faith. We have faith in one another. We have faith in changes we want to make in the world. We know we can use faith to improve our lives. We know we have faith. We can change the world. And even if we just take steps to, I know this church, we look out for other members of the church. We look out for the environment because we want the world to be a place where our grandchildren can live. We look out for social justice because we know that injustice anywhere is an affront to justice everywhere. And we may not be able to see the end of the staircase, but we can move in that direction. And any support we can give to people helps keeps on moving it. Some instances I've had of faith. It was funny, at a different church, the computer that had all the data in for the congregation was broken and it wouldn't boot up. And the data, decades worth of data was locked up in that hard drive, and all the backups had failed. And luckily somebody mentioned it because I had the faith. I said, we can pray around the computers. Computers, you should know, and telephones are particularly subject to prayer. And so, we grabbed the computer and we let go of all our thinking that it wasn't going to work. We knew that we gave no power to our doubt and fear. But instead we knew that fate blessed our day and it blessed the computer. And it wasn't just me, it was me and 2 chaplains and 2 staff members all held hands around the computer and touched the computer, and we prayed, and the computer booted up. And it booted up, and it stayed booted up long enough to copy all the data off of it. And then once all the data was off, it went down, and we said, now you get to go to the recycle bin. And you'll be remanufactured into a new telephone or computer. So it's a practical thing. We had Buy Nothing. People know about Buy Nothing. So this is a way in which we exhibit, especially around here, a beloved community where people support each other. And my stepdaughter has 3 grandchildren, and so she's always getting things for the grandchildren. And one day she got this antiquated jog stroller. And we couldn't get it to fit in the car. But she called me because she knew, she had faith that if it was a machine, I could make it work. And the faith I had, what my power of faith was for that was the willingness to try and the sure knowledge that I knew I would succeed if I didn't give up, ever. And luckily, it only took 5 minutes to figure out what it was to make the thing, and it's one of these things, it's impossible until it's simple. This happened, we had a sound problem this morning, and we had faith that we would have sound for the service, and sure enough, it took multiple minds looking at the problem, and it was suddenly fixed. So faith is practical, faith is spiritual, faith will heal us, faith will heal the world. Once again, I'll have us, for a final time, repeat the denial. I give no power to doubt and fear. I give no power to doubt and fear. And faith blesses my day and paves my way. Faith blesses my day and paves my way. Thank you so much. That's faith beneath.
No, thank you so much. That was great. What a wonderful message about faith. It got you a little bit inspired, didn't it? That's what a good talk is supposed to do. Well, let's sing together again. Stand if you like. We'll sing from that same songbook, song number 8.
Josh, get up here. Calling Josh to the stage. Come lead this with me. You have to dance down the aisle, though. Yeah. All right, let's go.
I am alive. I am alive in this world. In this world, I am alive. I am alive in this world. In this world, this is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. I'm living love every day. 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 Spreading peace along the way. Spreading peace along the way. Right place, right place. Right time. Living love every day. Again. I am alive. I am alive. I am alive
In this world,
in this world. In this world.
I am alive.
I am alive.
I am alive.
I am alive
In this world,
in this world.
this is the place.
This is the place.
This is the time.
This is the time.
Let it shine. Let it shine. I'm living love every day.
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 Spreading peace along the way.
Spreading peace along the way.
Right place,
Right place.
right time.
Right time.
Living love every day.
Woo! I knew he likes that song.
You were exactly right. That song just needed a little bit of Josh. That's all we needed. We just needed a little bit of Josh. I can't get over how lucky we are to have such great musicians, man. Whew. Well, now it's time to bless our offering and thank our Creator for the many blessings that we've been given and affirm our gratitude. So let's start by affirming the truth about ourselves, and this is how it goes. My name is, and you use your name, and I am prosperous, always and in all ways. So let's say that together. My name is, and I am prosperous, always and in all ways. Remember always means forever and ever and always, as in all forms. So let's take our offering now. You can hold it next to your heart, literally or figuratively. Remember, this is about the power of energy, the energy that your gift sends out into the community through the Unity Center for Positive Living. This is all possible because of you and this gift. So let's hold this gift in light and see it expand out through the community and bless it together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I share, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. Amen.
Where would Moses be if he succumbed to slavery and put his dreams up high upon the shelf? If he turned from the water and just walked on by himself to never see the promised land, he'd never save another man. It all started with a thought that turned into a dream, a fire burning in the soul of a single human being. Every dream that is lived is a dream come true. Stand up for your dreams, to thine own self be true. What if Martin Luther King had been afraid that day and never stood up to the ones who tried to take his rights away? All the pain and tears would have never washed away, to never walk hand in hand. We'd never learn to take a stand. It all started with a thought that turned into a dream, a fire burning in the soul of a single human being. Every dream that is left is a dream come true. Stand up for yourself, to thine own self be true. Never let another take the dreams God's given you. Go out and live your dreams. Do what you've always wanted to. What about this church and all the people that you see? If we'd been afraid to search and never learned to be free, now we know the truth, and anything we want can be. Now we hold our heads up high as we spread our wings and fly, with the thought started with a dream. If we'd been afraid to search, we never learned to be free. Now we know the truth, and anything we want can be. all started with a thought that turned into a dream. Fire burning in the soul of a single human being. Every dream that is lived is a dream come true. Stand up for your dreams, to thine own self be true. Stand up for your dreams, to thine own self be true.
Thank you, boy. We have had a wonderful hour, haven't we? Thank you, Reverend James. That was just wonderful. All those reminders, and most of us women would not have survived in that day, but we got through it and we got better. Yes, okay, let's take a breath. And let's just be thankful for this wonderful hour we've had, for the message, for the music. Our music is always so wonderful. Thankful for each other. Thankful for the people that are our techies and keep us going, and the people who work behind the scenes to be our ushers. We are very thankful for the blessings that we have, the people that give of their time and their talents, and the treasures that we gather during church that can be put to excellent use here in the church for things that are needed to keep us running smoothly. So appreciate each other, appreciate yourself, and remember, I am the light. Live in and go out and live. Thanks.
Thank you, Nancy. I agree. Anyone who gets choked up about women's rights and human rights for women and people of color is my kind of person. Amen. I was thinking about that, and for any of us who think that we're not progressing and moving forward, just look back a little bit in time. You can see real clearly we are moving forward with faith in the light, making huge, dramatic changes for humanity all over the planet. Okay, well, Nancy will be available for prayer support with you afterwards if you'd like to have a moment of prayer with her. If you have time, come on downstairs and join us for social hour. We're going to circle around the room now. You are welcome to join hands or create a little bit of distance. We'll say our prayer, protection, and peace song once we get all scattered around the room. We like to do this at the end just so you can all see each other. It's like two scrimmage lines. You guys stay on that side. We're staying on this side. Yeah, Red Rover. It's Red Rover. Okay, our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.